Hello everyone. If you're a backend developer just starting with your career, or you already have an experience in .NET, then this course is for you. Especially if you get intimidated like I used to. When I started my career, whenever somebody in Scrum call or in different calls would use the word like client, client issue, front end, full stack, repository, Git, Mongo, microservices, APIs, API calls, everything that used to make me feel so dumb that I am working as a C# .NET developer. What are these things coming into the picture? And that's where I started learning. It took me literally 8 years. 8 years of constant learning made me feel very comfortable with these words. And now, since I've got the idea how we create a production ready application, thought of coming up with a full-fledged course where we'll start with the basics and go till the end. And that's because of the overwhelming response you gave me. Uh, Within a month, I personally got 5,400 plus subscriber, and one of my videos has already crossed 50,000 views. So that really makes me feel humbled and overwhelmed. So in response to that, I want to thank you, each and every one of you. So what we are gonna build is we'll create a school dashboard. Through this, we will learn all the different concepts. We'll start with Angular for front end, for responsive UI. Then we'll create different microservices. A lot of you might not have worked with microservices, and these days, microservice not is no longer a buzzword. Every company wants somebody who have some hands-on with the microservices. How we deploy the application, how we use entity framework core, how we do branching, and so on, how we create the CI/CD pipeline. Everything we will be discussing in this course. So we'll start with the very basics of JavaScript. I'll give you all the fundamentals which is required for this course, and in general for a backend developer they must be aware. Then we'll move to TypeScript, because if you want to work in Angular, you have to learn TypeScript. And I'm telling you, if you're a C# developer or a Java developer, you will feel very familiar with TypeScript. TypeScript has got everything which we work as a C# developer. Then we'll move to Angular, where I'll start with the very basics. So if you have no prior knowledge of Angular, that's totally fine, because here I'll start with the fundamentals. On top of it, we will have hands-on working on this. We'll create the dashboard right from the scratch, and you'll get to know that how these things actually works. You know, all the concept on ground. So it's more of a hands-on learning experience with interview readiness, because at the end of each module, I will share all the important interview question which often comes in, you know, maybe usually for Angular developer, and in general, if you are a full stack developer or you claim as a full stack developer, then a lot of questions comes around the Angular. So we'll cover all this topic, and then we'll have a hands-on, and then we'll go for the interview question answer. On backend side, we'll be using .NET, but you are totally free to use any backend language which you want to. We'll create different microservices and we'll see how they actually communicate. What are the tools we use for them to communicate? How Azure Service Bus comes into the picture? What MongoDB does? What Cosmos does? Lot of things. So this course will literally make you a .NET full stack developer, a full-fledged one. Because as I said, it is going to be a production ready application with fundamentals clear, with hands-on practices and interview readiness. And in the process, I will assume that you don't have in-depth knowledge of .NET. So I will be clearing all the doubts in between as well. And keep on sharing. I mean, I'll be keep on sharing all the interview question we usually encounter as a .NET developer. So this course is going to be helpful not just for Angular developer or C# developer. It's going to be applicable for everyone who wants to become a full stack developer or want to claim a full stack developer and want to get a job where he get the opportunity to work everywhere. Then definitely once we are done with the application and our application is ready to be deployed, for deployment and branching, we will be using Git as a production ready, where we will be cloning and doing all those things, hands-on thing, which you'll enjoy. I can assure you on this. Then this is how our final look of the application is going to look like, where we'll have a teacher dashboard, student dashboard, all the microservices communicating, and everything as a full-fledged deployable application which can give you everything which you are missing out in your resume. And you and I would strongly recommend you or suggest you to keep on upgrading your front resumes. Uh, Either you're a front end or back end developer, because adding more things gives you more opportunity. I'm not asking you to lie, but learning, having hands-on experience, and deploying all these things and justifying in an interview can give you a very high salary package job, stable job, and you will feel fulfilled. But you're not lying. Because you're not just remembering. You're not simply memorizing all the interview question answer. You're actually doing hands-on, and that's how we are gonna complete this course. Once we are done with the course, we will go through all the important question answers, which often comes around all this topic. So how an .NET full stack developer go through an interview experience? Since I have been, giving all these interview for so many years, I know what kind of insights required in order to justify when you're sitting for these kind of interview. So having said this, let's begin the journey. We will start with the first chapter, then keep on increasing, in-depth hands-on thing, and then at the end we will be ready with our satisfaction, our satisfying journey, and then you guys will be ready to complete whole thing at once, and you'll get a clear picture how the Angular sends a request, how API process it, how we actually deploy the application. With having said all of this, let's begin this journey. I thank each and everyone who are gonna joining this session, and I would strongly encourage you, please share, like, and subscribe if you are a .NET developer, because I want my .NET community to be always job ready. That's exactly my point is, that's exactly my encouragement which I got, because a lot of you reached out to me saying that they don't have idea on Azure or Angular or this. Some said we haven't even touched microservices. So why learning these things in different pieces? Let's continue. Let's build a production ready application with hands-on, with interview readiness. This course will have everything you need. Let's start from chapter 1 in the next video. Thank you very much.